Welcome back to The Anchor Show. My name is Andrew. Today's topic is going to be about the somewhat silent pandemic or epidemic of men that are tired of being too strong, right? So it's a lot of men out there that are, some silently, some more openly, openly vocal about the challenges and struggles of being too tired, right? Tired of being the rock, tired of being strong, tired of being the one who has to step up every single time, right? Tired of carrying all this weight, this burden, this pressure. And the ones that are going through this silently, it's wearing them down. It's gradually just, kind of ripping them apart internally. And even for those who vocalize it, it's still having a negative impact on them, right? So let's take a look at what that really looks like, right? Why would a man, right? You're expected to be the provider, the protector, the everything. Why would you get tired of being too strong? Well, it's quite simple, right? Now, you think about this. A guy has to go out and work and make money to, take care of his household, pay the rent, the mortgage, whatever, buy food, money for school, take care of your wife, etc. The list is long, right? The list of financial responsibilities or obligation is quite long. And again, when I talk about these issues, I have to emphasize, I have to put a spotlight on the fact that we are currently living in a horrific economic time in human history. And as a result of that, everybody is struggling in some sense, in some capacity, right? And for the regular, ordinary people, the ordinary working class people, it's a lot of us men that are just going through hell, right? Financially, and that create byproduct, or not byproduct, but it creates, well, kind of like a byproduct, but like, other issues, right? If you're dealing with financial issues, then that's going to lead to issues between you and your spouse or partner, and your children might be looking at you sideways because you're not able to do everything for them. So it does lead to a lot of other different issues. So some men, they have that awareness, that emotional awareness and intelligence, and they're able to talk about this issue, right? Whether with their partners and spouses, or whether with friends, whomever, they're able to talk about it and kind of just get insights, get advice, get it out their system, and just kind of continue to move on with their lives, right? But then there are those who, they don't talk about this type of stuff. They just kind of silently just kind of go about their daily business. And it is killing them slowly, right? Draining them slowly, mentally, physically, emotionally, just draining them, right? And it's not hard to see why. Let's just look at a guy, for example, who makes, I don't know, $4,000 a month in his income, right? But your overall household financial obligation is about $6,000. You're $2,000 in the hole, right? Most women, even though they understand what's going on in the economy and just, this is not your fault, but most women are going to still be looking at you with that expectation, like, you need to step up, you need to do more. Now, that lack or that inadequacy sometimes, like I said earlier, can lead to unwanted situation or other issues. Like, that type of stuff can lead to infidelity, right? Because the woman feels like she needs to fill that void somehow, and that can lead to infidelity on her part. But it could also lead to infidelity on our part as the guy, because it's like, if she's nagging and she's annoying and she's complaining a lot and she's not being understanding, or she's just not patient, right? Then you start to grow a distance between the two of you. And then a lot of times, that sort of thing lead to infidelity on the man's part, right? So you're getting tired and bored, or not bored, but tired and frustrated with everything, and you're growing apart from her because all she does is nag. Now, you're vulnerable, and if you're not spiritually inclined, spiritually aware, let alone emotionally intelligent and all that, in that vulnerable state, it's so easy to go off the rails and go cheat or just pick up some sort of negative habit, right? A lot of people turn to drinking. A lot of them turn to gambling. A lot of people turn to all sorts of just negative habits. They take up negative habits, trying to find a way to soothe that situation at home, right? And the honest truth is, it is a lot of weight for a man to carry, taking care of your family, paying the bills, buying food, just everything that is expected. And the very frequent reality is that your need or needs remain on the back burner. You don't get to tend to your needs. You don't get to do the things you enjoy. You don't get to spend quality time with yourself. That's important, right? That's why a lot of dudes have man cave, because they just want to be able to get away from everybody and just have a moment, watch a game, have a drink, read a book, take a nap, whatever the case might be. A lot of us men, we don't get that. That's a luxury, right? So you're constantly going like a machine, and there's hardly any time to breathe. And then on top of that, you have all these expectations. Some of them are realistic and reasonable. Some of them are unrealistic and unreasonable. But nonetheless, you have them. And so that can cause a negative impact on men, right? And again, you see that in just picking up bad habits. Drinking, gambling, promiscuity. Yeah, even for married men, promiscuity. You never know, drug dealing, because you're under so much pressure. You're thinking, okay, how can I make this situation better, right? And then sometimes you find yourself digging deeper and deeper into a situation that only makes things worse instead of better, right? So how do we deal with this issue? How do we combat this, right? How do we get ahead of this, right? So I think it starts with something that is sort of uncommon, right? Before we even get to any of that, the first thing that you need to do is self-love, right? Self-love and self-care. Invest in yourself, right? That is the first thing, because once you are filled emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, once you are filled, once all of those proverbial cups are filled, it prepares you in a pretty profound way to be able to take on all these challenges that life has to throw at us, right? What do I mean? Invest in yourself, right? If you like to read, right, make sure that you're taking time out to read something. Read whatever, right? Make sure you're taking time out in your day. Doesn't matter how busy your day is, make time for you. That's the problem. We don't make time for ourselves. We don't prioritize and normalize taking time out in every given day for us, right? Because again, I like to use analogies, right? And look at yourself as a guy, as a provider, as a man who holds down your home, right? You take care of your family. Look at yourself as a pitcher of whatever. It could be water, pitcher of water. And you got 5, 6, 4, 7, 8 cups that each cup represents a responsibility. If you're constantly pouring from this pitcher, this one pitcher, you pouring into these cups, right? They consume it, they come back for more, you pour. Eventually, you, the pitcher, is going to go empty. The only way to prevent that from happening is to continue to replenish. So when you're pouring, that's okay. You're doing what you're supposed to do, but you need to pour back in yourself. And so going back to the solution, how do we pour back into ourselves? That's when we start to normalize and prioritize doing things that fulfill us, doing things that make us feel full, right? So if you like to play a sport, basketball, soccer, whatever, go play your sport. Make sure that you are playing that sport at least once or twice a week, right? There's a lot of dudes that are gamers. Make sure that you set aside half hour. Maybe you don't have a whole hour, but set aside 30 minutes where you can go lock in, play your game uninterrupted, right? Have that conversation with your wife. Have that conversation with, whomever you're with. You're let them know that, hey, I need this for me. I need this for me. I need this for me, right? And an understanding woman will get it, right? But you have to prioritize. We have to prioritize ourselves by pouring into us, fulfilling us. And then once your pitcher is full, it is okay to pour, because you have that formula. Once you pour, you are going to pour back into you. So you're staying full at all times, and that once you're starting to go down, once your levels are starting to deplete, what you need to do to refill, right? So if you're not already practicing healthy habits, then get into it. Read, watch uplifting videos, watch comedy. If you like to laugh, watch comedy, whatever type of comedy you enjoy. If you like to play sports, if you like to play video game, if you have a hobby, so you like to paint or draw, or maybe gardening in your backyard, whatever it is, find at least, I would say, 2 to 3 things that you truly enjoy, things that fulfill you, and make sure that you are prioritizing some time every single day, if possible. If not possible, at least a few times out of the week to pour into you, right? Every once in a while, when you can afford to do it, go maybe like on your way from work one evening, maybe it's a Friday evening, stop somewhere. Stop at your favorite restaurant. Get your favorite meal. Get a nice drink, right? Enjoy yourself. It's because, again, the importance is once we are able to keep ourselves filled up, then you're going to be able to fill others, right? You're going to be able to fulfill your obligations. Look, it's not about running away from your responsibilities. As a man, that's what we were created for. We're leaders, we're protectors, we're providers. That's what we were created for, right? So we're not trying to run away from our responsibilities. And I'm not suggesting that either. You got to do what you got to do. Yes, you're tired. Yes, you're exhausted. Yes, you're tired of being strong. But the reason why, or one of the primary reasons why you are so tired, to the point where some men are just walking away from their responsibilities, checking out, crashing out. Part of that reason is simply because we are not pouring into ourselves. We're not filling our pitcher. We keep pouring into others from this one vessel, but we're not filling ourselves up, right? Go meditate. Meditate. Take a moment of silence. Go in your closet, right? Take a moment of silence. Just steady the brain, steady your mind, right? Put some headphones on. Listen to some soothing music, right? But we have to normalize prioritizing time in each day, or at least multiple times throughout the week, to fill ourselves up spiritually, emotionally, and physically. I don't think I mentioned earlier, but go exercise. Go exercise, go for a walk, go for a run, right? If you don't have gym membership, or if you don't have weights, do some kinesthetics, go push up, do some sit-ups, do some jumping jacks, but exercise, move your body. And we have to prioritize. I know that life nowadays is super challenging. It's so much going on. It's almost impossible to keep up with everything. But the one thing's for sure, health is wealth. Physical health is wealth. Mental health is wealth. Emotional health is wealth, right? And if you invest in those things and keep yourself, as full as you possibly can be, then that feeling of tiredness and wanting to quit, wanting to give up, it will deplete, diminish, if not go away altogether, right? So let's prioritize that. Let's prioritize and normalize catering to our own needs as we cater to the needs of our families and our loved ones. All right. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that you take something from this video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, share this video with somebody you think that could benefit from it. I am growing a community. That's my goal, is to grow a community where we can come and have these honest, open, raw discussion, and not only just to talk, but I'll be able to provide good ideas and advice from my perspective as a mental health therapist, and just as a normal dude who I've had multiple experiences throughout my life. So until next video, let's continue to grow, evolve, and transform into the best version of ourselves.